Coming up on Tekzilla, turn your vinyl into audio files. Plus, a little inspiration for all you aspiring inventors out there. And I share with you one of my all-time favorite websites in a segment we call Code Red. In this week's episode, which is brought to you by Netflix, GoDaddy.com, and the adorable and disturbing Patagonian Mara, a hybrid deer, kangaroo, jackrabbit dog. Hello and welcome to Tekzilla. I'm Jessica Corbin.
And I am not Patrick Norton.
Definitely not. Definitely not. So where's Patrick, Sarah?
Patrick is out this week because he had a baby.
Oh, baby time!
Yay!
Congratulations,
A little Norton.
Mr. Norton.
Yes, he is out for the week. I'm filling in, but it's not just me that's filling in. There's actually quite a bit of estrogen flowing on the Tekzilla set.
And I'm feeling it behind me.
Yes,
it's
in
behind
fact,
me.
if you just look over to stage left.
Stage left.
I always get this confused. There's Heather Frank. She's normally our producer behind the scenes, calling all the shots, but she's actually in front of the camera today. And then our newest producer, Neha Tawari.
Yep.
She's the beautiful lady in red, is actually going to be helping us out a lot on the show. And you're probably going to see more of her around Revision 3 in the future.
That's right, and I'm going to be saying her name a bajillion times today, so just get ready to hear Neha a lot.
Neha.
Okay, so at the end of last episode,
Yes.
we ran this video on the X-Wing rocket launch.
Which was very cool.
Very cool.
Yeah.
I mean, so much time and effort that went into that thing exploding.
Yeah, it makes me feel pretty lazy watching.
But we really want to show you what happened.
Oh.
Take a look.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Dude, did you see the rocket?
That was cool.
And
That
the
was like,
spaceship?
It looked like Star Wars.
Totally, it was totally real.
He was like, I actually did think that was pretty cool.
It was very
It caught
cool.
me by surprise.
What's so cool to me is that somebody actually puts the time and effort into making that.
Exactly.
And putting it out there.
And it wasn't
That's
me,
what's cool.
and it wasn't you, but it entertained
But
us for
whoever
2
it is
seconds.
out there that did that, if you want to email us, tekzilla@revision3.com, come on.
Please.
Come on the show.
And we'll be able to thank you personally.
Yeah, you can tell us all how to
By
do that.
name.
Yeah.
We'll invite you on the set. You can tell us all about it.
So you're going to tell us all about something right
I am,
now.
yes. Let's move
It's
along.
almost as magical as rocket ships in the sky.
Almost.
Uh-huh.
So I have a question for you.
Yes.
Do you have any of these laying around your house? This is a vinyl LP, otherwise known as a record,
Only vinyl pants and purses. No vinyl records.
which is a very different thing. It's
Very
a very different breed.
But
This
my
is-
father has a lot of these here vinyl records.
Yes, it's definitely of the parent era. I actually have a few of these laying around, and the problem that I have is that if you don't have a turntable, which many of us don't, you can't even play them. But even if you do, these are still like, they're old media. You know, they can get scratched, you can break them. If you use them as a Frisbee, they're not gonna last that long.
Right.
So preservation-wise, you really wanna digitize this stuff. But how do you do it? The problem is that historically, going from old media to new media, there's some loss. You know, it's kind of tinny. It doesn't sound like a record once you're playing it on your computer. It just doesn't really work. So there are a few things that you can do to make the preservation process sound better.
Awesome.
End result. First thing you obviously need is a turntable.
Yes.
That's really obvious. Obviously, you have to be able to play the record,
vinyl record.
on the record player. So, you know, that's the first step. But something that people don't think about often is the cartridge. Over here, where the little needle is, you know, it's how you play your record. This is actually called the cartridge area, and you can swap this out. You can get a better cartridge, and you can think of it kind of like a stock stereo player. You know, it comes with the car, it works, it sounds okay, but if you get a better stereo, it's gonna sound a lot better.
Awesome.
So there are a variety
Didn't
of
know that.
cartridges that you can get, kind of do your research, find out which one is in, you know, your price range and all that good stuff. Next, you need a Phono Preamp. This is sort of like the bridge between the old media and your computer, right? You gotta somehow get it from here into your computer.
It's the tunnel.
It's the tunnel.
It's the tunnel.
Yes.
Got it.
Yes, exactly. So it's sort of your middleman. So what you want to do is you want to look for a preamp that does RIAA equalization. RIAA,
What's
as
that?
in the Recording Industry of America.
Yeah.
What happened is back in 1954, Jessica.
Oh, tell me, mommy.
Little history lesson. The RIAA instituted sort of a standard for audio. So that all record players, when you play them on a turntable, would have pretty much the same levels. Okay, so you want to make sure that your preamp supports that. Now, for some reason, if you have a record that was made before 1954 that doesn't apply, and you're kind of on your own, you kind of just have to do some level experimentation.
Okay.
But that's just the
You
way
might
it
be
is.
able to take care of that
I mean,
with
I kind
software
of think
later.
also, like, how many records are you going to be using that are before 1954? I don't know, Bing Crosby?
Yeah, totally Bing Crosby.
And I don't have any
Rosemary
of those.
Clooney, that's before that maybe.
I like her.
Yeah.
Okay, so anyway, you've got your preamp. The next thing you need is in your computer itself, a good sound card. Well, if it's an external sound card, it's right next to your computer, connected. Internal sound cards also work. Patrick actually, he has a Sound Blaster sound card. He says he's had it forever, works really well. But an external sound card, people generally think that they
Get better
work
results.
Get better results, exactly. So you definitely want to spend a little money, get the better sound card. It's kind of like that stock stereo thing again. Spend a little money, get a better sound card. Better than what came in your laptop or your desktop computer. Finally, within your computer itself, you need recording and or audio editing software. Not video, this is old school.
Silly
So
Sarah.
Audacity is a free option, free software, but chances are that you want something to remove like pops or scratches or clicks or all
Even though I
that.
kind of find that endearing, because then it feels really like you're listening to a record.
Well, that's kind of what people love about vinyl, is it's got all of that
it
stuff.
has like history. You feel like it has like more substance.
Yeah,
It's not as,
it has some
clean.
depth.
Yeah.
It's been around. The problem is that sometimes when you transfer that into digital form, none of that stuff is
it's
quite
like
as endearing
distorted.
anymore.
It's
it just sounds
loud.
bad.
Yeah.
So you want to clean it up. You
Got
want to
it.
sort of modernify it. I just made that word up. Adobe Sound Booth is a good option. You still with me?
With ya.
That's about $200. We've got a lot of options. I mean, I'm just gonna like give you a few. Audition is another. That's $360. Microsoft used to make a tool called Plus Analog Recorder, a multi-track audio tool. It's not actually made anymore, but you can find it. You just kind of hunt around online. Sound Soap 2 is another good one. It's $129, available for both XP and OS X, so that's helpful. There are more. One thing to keep in mind, though, is you want to try to record in the least compressed format possible. You want to clean it up first and then compress it, because if you compress it first, you're going to end up with a
compress it
lossy
again.
result
Okay.
later.
Got
so
it.
those are pretty much all the things you need. Finally, well, this is actually it should almost be the first step, but I've listed it as number 5 just because I'm weird that way, is that you want to clean up your record to start with, because if you look at this guy, this
Right.
guy's dirty.
Very dirty.
And the dirt is going to come across
Contribute to
in
those
your end
clicks and
result.
pops and all those things.
There are many ways. If you look on, I actually did some research online to try to figure out what is the best way to clean up an old LP, because it turns out that licking it with your tongue is not the best way.
But it is a way.
It is a way, just not the best.
Got it.
If I were to do it, I would just use like the same little cloth that I use to clean off my sunglasses.
That would be totally the intuitive route to go.
You know?
But if it's really bad, they also say alcohol. And
alcohol,
water.
1 part alcohol, 1 part water,
Yeah.
with a certain kind of this or that. I think the key is just to be gentle. You don't want to add to the scratches. You want to take away from them.
And fun fact for you guys today, Sarah Lane loves the smell of vinyl.
I do.
You love the smell of
Well,
records.
it's not the
She's like coming
vinyl.
up to me. She's like, smell it, smell it.
No,
She's like, it
Jessica.
smells weird. Smell it. I love it.
I feel the need to clarify. It's not the record. It's the paper.
Which is
it comes
even
in.
weirder to me.
Smell it.
No, I don't want to.
It smells like an old library. I'd love it.
Okay, so we said we were going to spread the love today, between the ladies.
And we should.
Absolutely. So, Neha, what's coming up?
Coming up, we're going to show you how to make an ISO disc. It's like a party, only better.
Explore new music with this interactive web app, musiccovery.com. A cross between Pandora and Music Plasma, it lets you create playlists from a variety of factors: mood, whether dark or energetic, positive or calm, style, genre, and era. It's got live streaming music and a visual interface composed of moving graphical bubbles. Choose from a large selection of music from hip-hop to jazz to classical. The one big bummer is that there isn't an option to search for a specific band. If you're feeling really adventurous, try hitting the Discovery button, which will dredge up obscure bands you never knew existed. Sponsoring this episode of Tekzilla is Netflix. If you like high def, you can get both HD, DVD, and Blu-ray movies and shows. Get a free trial of them by signing up through a site they set up just for us at netflix.com/Tekzilla. So we got an email here from Bob from Salt Lake City, Utah. He says, I need a little help on how to make an ISO disc. And Bob, this is pretty easy. So essentially you want to take an ISO file and you want to turn it into an ISO disc that is readable on both a PC or a Mac. So Miss Lane, do you want to break it down on like exactly what an ISO disc is? So
yeah, well, an ISO, I mean, let's say you have a DVD or CD-ROM, and you want to somehow transfer that information onto your computer. I mean, you can't actually physically put the disk into your computer, but you can get the information, including the hierarchy of sort of file directories and all of the stuff, how it is assembled on the disk itself, onto your computer, into a file format. That's an ISO.
Okay.
So it sounds like what he already has is the ISO file. Who knows, maybe you got it off the internet, maybe he already got it off a disk and he wants to put it back on another. It's good for like copying DVDs, that sort of thing. And that's really easy. In OS 10, this stuff is kind of built in. So that's not a huge issue, but on a PC, you usually need a third-party application.
So like Nero, or we're going to use CD Burner XP, which is free.
Exactly.
So it's really easy. Just 3 steps will get you right there. First, put a CD or DVD in your burner. Then open the ISO file in your disk burning software of choice. And finally, hit the burn button. And when the drive spits the disk back out, you are done and good to go.
That was fun.
Wasn't it? It's just fun being with you, Miss Lane.
Thanks, Jess.
All right, Neha, what do you got?
Coming up, some advice for all you burgeoning inventors out there. But first, our producer sure does look serious. But she's a raging comic fiend and she wants you to know about 30 Days of Night.
Ever since F.W. Murnau's Nosferatu hit theaters in 1922, the vampire genre just won't die. Did you know that the latest harrowing tale of blood-sucking fiends, 30 Days of Night, was originally a 3-issue comic book miniseries released in 2002? Well, now you do. Penned by Steve Niles and illustrated by Ben Templesmith, this creepy vampire tale takes place in remote Barrow, Alaska, where the sun doesn't rise for 30 consecutive days and nights. A perfect place for vampires to inhabit. Because, you know, sunlight burns them to ashes. The only hope for this ill-fated community is the town sheriff, who has a plan. To get your vamp fix, check out 30 Days of Night, out in theaters now.
Big thanks to GoDaddy for sponsoring this episode of Tekzilla. If you want to make an impact online, do it with GoDaddy.com. .com names as low as $1.99, plus world-class hosting, fast and easy website builders, and much more. Plus, enter code TEK5 when you check out and save an additional 10% off any order of $40 or more.
So I'm standing next to the man that invented this wonderful product, H2 Glow, and the founder of Sector Labs, and most importantly, my very good friend, Daniel Koken, who I met in a Starbucks years ago because why? I loved his dog. That's why. And so after I was looking at your dog forever, we got to talking, and you told me that you are
an inventor, I guess.
An inventor. You're like, he's an inventor.
It wasn't
like,
the first thing I said, but it came out.
I think it was, because it was like
I don't
stuck
think
to me. And it's like somebody saying like they're a rocket scientist. Like, who does that?
Who does that? I know.
Especially for a young cat like you. You know, I was thinking maybe, you know, a designer or like finance or
Right.
something. But you're an inventor. So what I want to talk about is this product that you came out with. But more importantly, I want you to kind of give us insight on what it means to be an inventor and what it takes to get your product from here to out into the world. You got me?
I got you.
Okay, so
gotcha.
let's talk about H2 Glow.
All right.
Tell me what it does.
Okay. Well, you know, it's incredibly simple, actually. You just stick it on your faucet, and it injects light into the water that comes out of your faucet. Okay. So when the water's hot, for example, it glows red, and when it's cold, it glows blue. It's incredibly logical, and it just kind of makes sense to everybody. But that's actually what kind of concerns me a little bit, is that it's so simple that I think it overshadows the utility of what it really does. It really does change the way that you experience your faucet on a fundamental level.
I'm going to appreciate it so much, because how many times have I put my hands under scalding hot water, Daniel?
Who hasn't?
You're going to save these beautiful hands, these hand model hands right here.
They're nice.
I
am going to be the one.
Okay, so that's H2 Glow.
Right.
And how long did it take you to get this from here out into this? How many years?
Well, this it's kind of a casualty of war, to be honest with you. I came up with this thing years ago, and while I was developing another product, a video projector called a VideoPod, which by the way, Apple has been sending me letters about the trademark.
Oh, hey.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Call 'em Apple.
But I can't afford to pay my patent attorney right now, so anyway. I was at a projection conference, and one thing led to another, and I saw some faucets sitting there, and I thought to myself, how could I make them better? And I thought, why not inject light? Why not add another dimension to?
So 3 years, a casualty of war.
Oh yeah. Well, God, I forgot the question you even asked me.
Yeah.
It's such a convoluted mess. Years and years and years actually had gone by, and finally an old colleague of mine had brokered a relationship between me and a manufacturer to get this thing built. And through the process, I mean, here it is. It's sitting in front of my face now, which is a little odd, by the way.
Yeah.
Okay, to have an idea and then have it sitting in your face is
Right.
bizarre, but it is. I had to compromise a lot through the process of working with this manufacturer. I had to kind of bend over quite a bit to make it happen.
There's a visual for you. So, okay, but it's here. So what I want you, so this makes you, in my eyes, a success. Because you brought something to life. So what I want to know now is for you just to give us some insight, and for all you aspiring inventors out there, kind of what is it going to take? What would be like your top 3 things that you would say to somebody? All right.
Well, first of all, I think it's important to obey the laws of physics. I think that a lot of people subscribe to magic, and I don't want to go into holistic concepts, but magic. It's like you gotta obey the physics. Materials do certain things, and that's the way that it works. But don't let that also limit you, because I'll tell you, there's some incredible products that were spawns of different ways of looking at things.
So obey and expand the laws of physics.
Absolutely.
Okay. How about number 2?
Perseverance. You're gonna encounter so many obstacles. Everyone wants to get in your way. Everyone is in your way, and you've got to be able to push through and get out of bed and bathe and brush your teeth.
I remember seeing you and being like, Daniel, it's time for a shower.
Seriously, right? No, I was good about showering. I don't know about I was good about
the eating part.
The eating part, I have a hard time.
You have a hard time with when you get in your dungeon zone and your focus zone.
I could go a couple days without eating, just staring at the monitor trying to solve the problem.
Who are you? Okay, number 3.
I'm still working on number 3, to be honest with you. When I'm incredibly successful and I've figured it all out, I'll give you number 3. How about that?
You don't even have one more bit, one more morsel for aspiring inventors.
All right, I've got one. Okay. Make sure that you respect and care about the people that care about you along the way. Because, well, I'll tell you, I've sacrificed most of my relationships with my family, my friends, everybody, just to get my ideas off the ground. Because it's hard, and you have to sacrifice. And my family and my good friends have never left my side, and so you can't forget the people that were there.
Well, that was touching. Way to end it. And how's your dog?
He's doing great.
I love Gadget.
Gadget's the best.
Gadget is the best.
He's the best.
I love it. So thank you for coming by today and just imparting your wisdom upon me and everyone else.
Thanks for having me. It was a pleasure.
All right, what's coming up, Neha?
Coming up, all your email questions answered after this. The Austin Maker Faire is less than 2 weeks away. The Geeky Gadgetry DIY Festival is a hodgepodge of crafts, technology, art, science, fashion, robots, inventions, and much, much more. Behold a life-sized mousetrap, rocket making and launching, and a robot fashion show. It's all happening on October 20th and 21st in Austin, Texas. More information at makerfaire.com.
My fellow Americans, as the 2008 election nears and the number of candidates seems to grow and grow, it's only natural to feel a bit bamboozled by the options. PoliticalBase.com is trying to undo the knot of overwhelming media attention by offering information on political candidates, where you can even watch videos of their TV appearances. Most importantly, you can see where our dear politicos stand on hot issues like universal health care, the weapon ban, and abortion. PoliticalBase.com additionally offers leaderboards on the most attractive, trustworthy, and powerful folks of Washington. Looks like funny man Jon Stewart leads the way. I guess humor plus a devilish grin equals power, people.
And now it is time for Code Red.
So what is Code Red anyway?
Great question, Miss Lane. So essentially it's anything that I want to alert you all to. So it could be a trend, it could be a gadget, it could be a site, it could be a person that I found on the web. It could be, anything that is kind of catching my attention and I think should catch yours. How about that?
I like it.
Okay, so
what's the first Code Red?
Exactly. So it's going to be the Web Wayback Machine. Have you heard of this?
I have, and in fact it has come in handy every so often over the years.
Okay, so essentially essentially it started in October of 2001, and it is a way for you to basically see the evolution of a website. So it archives sites through their, when they first, hit the interweb to current date.
So for example, sometimes websites get a whole new look. They hire a new designer and the whole thing changes one day. You go and you say, oh my gosh, it looks totally different than it did yesterday. But the Wayback Machine will keep a log of what it looked like yesterday.
Which is crazy because you really think that when you update it that it's gone.
Right.
You think that it's gone. It's so not gone. You can totally access everything that was ever created on the web, kinda. I'm sure that there are ways around it, but for the most part, you go to this thing, you have to type in the URL. You can't search by text, and so you can't just put in Apple. You
have to do apple.com.
Apple.com. So, and with this, you're going to see the evolution from web 1.0 to 2.0 to, are we in 2.0 still?
I think we're like 2.7.
So that's where we're at now. So that's what's really cool about it. Let's see, what else do we have? A list of results will come up by date, so you can click on the date that you want. And the asterisks next to the snapshot dates indicate changes in the page's content. And just a little note, the URL format, the long number represents a timestamp of the format, and the Wayback sometimes jumps from time to time as you navigate through pages, so be sure to go by this timestamp. And sometimes the pages don't load completely, so again, it's more often accurate than not, but
sometimes you may get a partial old website.
Only certain things will load. If you switch a server sometimes.
Don't expect the world.
From the Wayback Machine is the short of it, right? So you got it?
I got it.
Got it. I think it's a good little code red, a way to start. So, any questions?
No.
Okay. So, but I think there are questions coming up, email questions.
There are questions from a lot of other people. We should take the first one.
Okay. So the first email writes, I just want to let you guys know that I work as an in-store PC tech and only charge $30 to install video cards. Haven't heard of any local stores charging the upwards of $100. From Brad in Tampa, Florida. Well,
now this was in reference to last week. We said 100, 200 perhaps, and he's saying, whoa, it's way less than that.
Yeah, he's saying he charges $30, and what I'm saying is that, Brad, you need to give us your name and other pertinent info, and we're going to send all of the business right to you, because that is a phenomenal price.
I think that I've learned something from this, from you, Brad, and that is that we need to move our asses to Tampa. And get out of the Bay Area where everything is like twice as much as it is in the rest of the country, and I think our brains are getting warped.
I think it's like at least 3 times as much as the rest of the country.
I mean, I know what I pay for a drink around here.
I know.
And it is not
How
the same
much do they pay for, a Cosmo in Tampa? Here?
Let's find out.
$12.
Trip. Okay. Anyway, thanks. Thanks for the information, Brad. We will try to keep our money in check in the future.
Thanks,
Let's
Brad.
take another email.
Number 2.
Adam from Salt Lake City, Utah asks, can I use the brand new thin wired Apple keyboards on a Windows XP machine? And the answer is yes, you absolutely can. The only thing you need is an adapter, because Apple uses these kind of funny USB cables that have a little notch in the middle of them. So you need an adapter or else they won't fit in your Windows machine. Otherwise, you are good to go. And I actually have one of these. Anyway, yeah, love the keyboard. You can use the USB cable. It's just need a little adapter.
Yep. And finally, email number 3 reads, I'm going to Europe in May. I could take my laptop, but it's heavy and it might get stolen. I would like a small device around $200 that can use Wi-Fi, upload to my Flickr Pro account from an SD card, and use Skype. Minimal email and RSS reading would be greatly appreciated, from Matt in Winnipeg, Manitoba.
I feel like Matt just wants to bring his laptop. That's what I feel like.
He really
wants
does.
so much. He wants so much, man.
Yes, and you're entitled to be greedy, Matt, because I think we have some solutions for you. So you can't take your laptop. You did it.
Yeah, actually, I was on an extended trip last year, traveling around the world. I did have a laptop. It was a full-size, MacBook Pro. And it was fine. I needed it for a lot of different things, so it's really nice to have full functionality. I can't tell you how much I use that laptop. However, I was always worried it was going to get stolen, and things do get stolen all the time. It's heavy, it's cumbersome, all of that stuff. So it is. I can see why people would want anything smaller that at least has 75% of the things that a laptop has. Skype, really important. It's like almost the #1 tool that you're going to need, because you get homesick and you want to call mom.
gotta call
I
Mom.
give myself away?
And you don't have the money. Okay, so if you want all those functions and all those applications, I think that Nokia's N800 might be a really good option. I'm not a huge fan of tablets, but this is like a quarter of the size, and it's going to give you everything that you need for your trip. So check that out. It retails for about $260. I know you can get it probably for about $40 less. So just look around.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Somebody's a smart shopper.
I mean,
She knows a bargain when she sees one.
all right, you guys. I think that's our show.
No.
I think we got to end it.
We
but
just
thank you so
started.
much
Thank you.
for stepping in.
It's
you did
fun.
it in such a great way.
It's fun to be on a show with you again.
It is.
But I am just here temporarily. Hopefully Patrick will be back next week.
But we don't know.
We don't know. Parenthood might just, it's hard to
It
say.
could be girls one more.
Sleep deprivation.
One more time.
It's a real bitch.
Okay, but you guys, you can always email us with any questions, comments, concerns, whatever. Tekzilla at revision3.com.
Great.
And until we see you next time, take care.
Bye.
Bye. Coming up on Tekzilla. Hello and welcome to Tekzilla. Hold on. Sorry.
No! It's not gonna hurt you.
No.
It smells good. It smells like old mothballs.
Coming up, all your email questions answered.
And 3, 2.
3, 2. Number 2. Wait, in 3. What was that? Number 2.